was dark now, as it becomes dark quickly after the sun sets in September. He lay against the warm wood of the bow and rested all that he could. The first stars were out. He did not know the name of Rigel, but he saw it and knew soon they would all be out and he would have all the distant friends. The fish is my friend too, he said aloud. I have never seen or heard of such a fish, but I must kill him. I am glad we do not have to try to kill the stars. Imagine if each day a man must try to kill the moon, he thought. The moon runs away, but imagine if a man each day should have to try to kill the sun. We were born lucky, he thought. Then he was sorry for the great fish that had nothing to eat, and his determination to kill him never relaxed in his sorrow for him. How many people will he feed? He thought. But are they worthy to eat him? No, of course not. There is no one worthy of eating him, from the manner of his behavior and his great dignity. I do not understand these things, he thought, but it is good that we do not have to try to kill the sun or the moon or the stars. It is enough to live on the sea and kill our true brothers. Now, he thought, I must think about the drug. It has its perils and its merits. I may lose so much line that I will lose him. If he makes his effort and the drug made by the oars is in place and the boat loses all her lightness. Her lightness prolongs both our suffering, but is my safety, since he has great speed that he has never yet employed. No matter what passes, I must gut the dolphin so he does not spoil and eat some of him to be strong. Now, I will rest an hour more and feel that he is solid and steady before I move back to the stern to the work and make the decision. In the meantime, I can see how he acts and if he shows any changes. The oars are a good trick, but it has reached the time to play for safety. He is much fish still, and I saw that the hook was in the corner of his mouth and he has kept his mouth tight shut. The punishment of the hook is nothing. The punishment of hunger and that he is against something that he does not comprehend is everything. Rest now, old man, and let him work until your next duty comes. He rested for what he believed to be 2 hours. The moon did not rise now until late, and he had no way of judging the time. Nor was he really resting except comparatively. He was still burying the pool of the fish across his shoulder, but he placed his left hand on the gunwale of the boat and confided more and more of the resistance to the fish to the skiff itself. How simple it would be if he could make the line fast, he thought. But with one small lurch, he could break it. I must cushion the pull of the line with my body and at all times be ready to give line with both hands. But you have not slept yet, old man, he said aloud. It is a half day and a night, and now another day, and you have not slept. You must divide the way so that you sleep a little, if he is quiet and steady. If you do not sleep, you might become unclear in the head. I'm clear enough in the head, he thought, too clear. I am as clear as the stars that are my brothers. Still I must sleep. Let sleep, and the moon and the sun sleep, and even the ocean sleeps sometime on a certain day when there is no current and a flat calm. But remember to sleep, he thought. Make yourself do it and devise some simple and sure way about the lines. Now, go back and prepare the dolphin. It is too dangerous to rig the oars as a drag if you must sleep. I could go without sleeping, he told himself, but it would be too dangerous. He started to work his way back to the stern on his hands and knees, being careful not to jog against the fish. He may be half asleep himself, he thought, but I do not want him to rest. He must pull until he dies. Back in the storm, he turned so that his left hand held the string of the line across his shoulder and drew his knife from its sheath with his right hand. The stars were bright now, and he saw the dolphin clearly, and he pushed the blade of his knife into his head and drew him out from under the stern. He put one of his feet on the fish and slit him quickly from the vent up to the tip of his lower jaw. Then he put his knife down and gutted him with his right hand, scooping him clean and pulling the gills clear. He felt the maw heavy, slippy in his hand, and he slid it open. There were 2 flying fish inside. They were fresh and hard, and he laid them side by side and dropped the guts and gills over the stern. They sank, leaving a trail of phosphorescence in the water. The dolphin was cold and the leprous gray-white now in the starlight, and the old man skinned one side of him while he held his right foot on the fish's head. Then he turned him over and skinned the other side and cut each side off from the head down to the tail. He slid the carcass overboard and looked to see if there was any swirl in the water. But there was only the light of its slow descent. He turned them and placed the 2 flying fish inside the 2 fillets of fish and put in his knife back in its sheath. He worked his way slowly back to the bowl. His back was bent with the weight of the line across it, and he carried the fish in his right hand. Back in the bowl, he laid the 2 fillets of fish out on the wood with the flying fish beside him. After that, he settled that line across his shoulder in a new place and held it again with his left hand resting on the gunwale. Then he leaned over the side and watched the flying fish in the water, noting the speed of the water against his hand. His hand was phosphorescent from skinning the fish, and he watched the flow of the water against it. The flow was less strong, and as he rubbed the side of his hand against the planking of the skiff, particles of phosphorus floated off and drifted slowly astern. "He is tired, or he is rested," the old man said. "Now, let me get through the eating of this dolphin and get some rest and a little sleep." Under the stars and with the night colder all the time, he ate half of one of the dolphin fillets and one of the flying fish, gutted and with his head cut off. "What an excellent fish dolphin it is to eat cooked," he said. "And what a miserable fish roe. I will never go in a boat again without salt or limes. If I had brains, I would have splashed water on the bowl all day and dry. It would have made salt," he thought. But then I did not hook the dolphin until almost sunset. Still, it was a lack of preparation. But I have chewed it all well, and I am not nauseated. The sky was clouding over to the east, and one after another the stars he knew were gone. It looked now as though he were moving into a great canyon of clouds and the wind had dropped. There will be bad weather in 3 or 4 days, he said. But not tonight and not tomorrow. Rig now to get some sleep, old man, while the fish is calm and steady. He held the line tight in his right hand and then pushed his side against his right hand as he leaned all his weight against the wood of the bowl. Then he passed the line a little lower on his shoulder and braced his left hand on it. My right hand can hold it as long as it is braced, he thought. It is relaxed. If it relaxes in sleep, my left hand will wake me as the line goes out. It is hard on the right hand, but he is used to punishment. Even if I sleep 20 minutes or half an hour, it is good. He lay forward, crumpling himself against the line with all of his body, putting all his weight onto his right band, and he was asleep. He did not dream of the lions, but instead of a vast school of porpoises that stretched for 8 or 10 miles, and it was in the time of their mating, and they would leap high into the air and return into the same hole they had made in the water when they leaped. Then he dreamed that he was in the village on his bed, and there was a norther, and he was very cold, and his right arm was asleep because his head had rested on it instead of a pillow. After that, he began to dream of the long yellow beach, and he saw the first of the lions come down onto it in the early dark, and then the other lions came, and he rested his chin on the wood of the bows where the ship lay anchored with the evening offshore breeze, and he waited to see if there would be more lions, and he was happy. The moon had been up for a long time, but he slept on, and the fish pulled on steadily, and the boat moved into the tunnel of clouds. He walked with the jerk of his right fist coming up against his face, and the line burning out through his right hand. He had no feeling of his left hand, but he braked all he could with his right, and the line rushed out. Finally, his left hand found the line, and he leaned back against the line, and now it burned his back and his left hand, and his left hand was taking all the strain and cutting badly. He looked back at the coils of the line, and they were feeding smoothly. Just then, the fish jumped, making a great bursting of the ocean, and then a heavy fall. Then he jumped again, and the boat was going fast, although the line was still racing out, and the old man was raising the strain to breaking point, and raising it to breaking point again and again. He had been pulled down tight onto the bowl, and his face was in the cut slice of dolphin, and he could not move. This is what we waited for, he thought. So now, let us take it. Make him pay for the line, he thought. Make him pay for it. He could not see the fish jumps, but only heard the breaking of the ocean and the heavy splash as he fell. The speed of the line was cutting his hand badly, but he had always known this would happen, that he tried to keep the cutting across the calloused parts and not let the line slip into the palm nor cut the fingers. If the boy was here, he would whip the coils of line, he thought. Yes, if the boy were here. If the boy were here. The line went out and out and out, but it was slowing now, and he was making the fish earn each inch of it. Now he got his head up from the wood and out of the slice of fish that his cheek had crushed. Then he was on his knees, and then he rose slowly to his feet. He was sitting lying, but more slowly all his time. He worked back to where he could feel with his foot the coil of line that he could not see. There was plenty of line still, and now the fish had to pull the friction of all that new line through the water. Yes, he saw it. And now he has jumped more than a dozen times and filled the sack along his back with air, and he cannot go down deep to die where I cannot bring him up. He will start circling soon, and then I must work on him. I wonder what started him so suddenly. Could it have been hunger that made him desperate? Or was he frightened by something in the night? Maybe he suddenly felt fear, but he was such a calm, strong fish. He seemed so fearless and so confident. It is strange. You better be fearless and confident yourself, old man, he said. We are holding him again, but you cannot get line. But soon he has to circle. The old man held him with his left hand and his shoulder now, and stooped down and scooped up water in his right hand to get the crushed dolphin flesh off his face. He was afraid that it might nauseate him and he would vomit and lose his strength. When his face was clean, he washed his right hand in the water over the side and then let it stay in the salt water while he watched the first light come before the sunrise. He's headed almost east, he thought. That means he's tired and going with the current. Soon he will have to circle. Then our true work begins.